summer, which means it's the perfect time to do some cameraless photography experiments. Lumen Prints are a form of alternate process photography which require the sun and light sensitive paper to burn in an image. This process can be dated back to the 1830s, predating modern photography. I've really wanted to try out this style of printmaking for a while, and even better, it's a really simple process. All I'm using for this video is a picture frame, flowers and light sensitive paper. So with all that information, I just kind of went in clueless with my first two experiments. I got my flowers and started arranging them together. The reason most people use flowers for Lumen Prints is because they are light translucent, especially the petals, which allow for different levels of light to penetrate into the paper. However, don't feel limited to only using plants. I've seen plenty of other examples where they've used handmade elements to create an image. Once I aligned the flowers into a composition I was quite happy with, I got some pre-cut darkroom paper out of my bag and placed them just on top. Obviously, when using darkroom paper, you're normally submerged in complete darkness or a red light, so it's definitely an interesting process just seeing it out in front of you. Once I had my image secured, I went to my local park and let the sun burn in an image for 40 minutes. Online, it says an exposure can be as little as 5 minutes, but I've also seen ones that have gone on for weeks at a time. It depends really with what you're trying to achieve, but the longer the exposure, normally the stronger the image. After the 40 minutes, I went back up to my room and I opened up the frame. It's quite normal to see moisture build up in these images, so don't be worried if your images are a bit wet. That's why my next step was to wash the images. There's two different kind of ways you can go with this. You can either wash the images and just leave them to dry, which is what I did, which is obviously the easier option. If you have darkroom chemicals available, you can actually fix the image with the fixer provided. Either process is going to alter the images. As you can see, here's the results I got after washing my images. And this is compared to what they look like now, where they've had a bit more time to expose with natural light. Both of them look really good, but one obviously has a lot more tonal range, which is why it's quite important to always have a digital archive of your work. Speaking of scanning these, it's really simple. You just take a photo of them and then edit them down if you really want to. You could literally do this with your phone. Overall, I have to say I'm really happy with how these looked, so I decided let's do some more. I had to go flower picking again, so I actually filmed it this time, and I've got to say there were some beautiful flowers in the parks around. I feel bad picking them. After collecting a few different types of flowers, I came back home and I started arranging them in my room. I also decided to try a little experiment here where I took some negatives and some darkroom paper and stuck them together to see if I can make a lumen print out of a negative. I didn't really expect this to work and I knew it needed a longer time to expose compared to the flowers, but I thought it was worth a shot anyway. After aligning and sealing the flowers, I did the same thing and went to the park, but this time for an hour. And you can definitely tell what that extra 20 minutes have done. The images are clearly quite darker and more pronounced. In fact, even after washing and scanning them, the images have a lot more tonal range compared to the previous experiments. So definitely longer exposures will make a better image than shorter ones, but either way, the images on both of these are wonderful. As I kind of said, I didn't expect the negative to actually produce an image, and it didn't. So overall, I'm left with these 4 prints and I'm really happy with all of them. So if you want to see more of this, be sure to subscribe. This is a ridiculously simple printmaking process and I really recommend anyone to try this out if you have the materials. But thank you for watching. Mao.